Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
The leader of Reform was forced to defend his unashamedly radical manifesto yesterday as critics branded it fantasy economics. Nigel Farage launched the party's election blueprint in South Wales, unveiling a staggering £141 billion in tax cuts and additional spending. This included around £88 billion in personal and business tax cuts, nearly double the amount in Liz Truss's doomed mini-budget, which sparked economic turmoil in 2022. Mr. Farage insisted it was wrong to compare Reform's plans with Ms. Truss's, setting out £150 billion worth of measures to raise revenue. But critics said the party was overestimating how much it would save and took aim at other pledges such as eliminating NHS waiting lists within 2 years, saying this has not been achieved in the NHS's history. Sir Geoffrey Clifton-Brown, ex-deputy chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, said, "These policies are completely barking. It's just absolute nonsense. Fantasy economics. They're taking the public for absolute fools." Carl Emerson, deputy director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, said, "Spending reductions would save less than stated, and the tax cuts would cost more than stated, by a margin of tens of billions of pounds per year." Defending his plans in Merthyr Tydfil, Mr. Farage said, "It's radical. It's fresh thinking. It's outside the box. We're unashamedly radical. We want change." Here are Reform's key plans analyzed. Reform aims to raise the minimum income tax threshold from £12,571 to £20,000, lifting 7 million people out of the levy. It also wants to increase the higher rate threshold from £50,000 to £70,000, slash fuel duty by around a third to 20p a litre, and scrap VAT on energy bills. Stamp duty would be axed on properties valued at under £750,000. The current threshold is £250,000, and inheritance tax will be abolished for estates worth under £2 million. The threshold is £325,000 currently. The party would fund the pledges by stopping the Bank of England paying interest on quantitative easing reserves, which it says could raise £35 billion a year. Reform adds it will find £50 billion in public spending efficiencies without hitting frontline services. Analysis. The claim that it could save £50 billion without affecting vital services is questionable. David Cameron's austerity government claimed to have made £33.5 billion of efficiency savings across 4 years and £14.3 billion in the best single year. Some frontline services were affected. Experts also say the quantitative easing reserves proposals would save less than £20 billion. Critics added that the list of tax cuts mostly benefit the wealthy. Reform pledged to freeze non-essential immigration and stop channel crossings by leaving the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR. It said zero illegal immigrants will be resettled in the UK and small boat migrants would be sent back to France. Asylum seekers from safe countries would be processed rapidly, offshore if necessary, and would be barred from claiming refuge. On legal arrivals, the party had previously pledged net zero migration, so for every migrant who arrives, one would leave. But this has now been left out. The party confirmed it will bring in a migrant tax, charging employers an increased national insurance rate of 20% for every foreign worker they bring in. Analysis. Pulling out of the ECHR is an attempt to outflank the Tories on the right. However, it is unclear if this would solve the problem of being able to deport people more quickly as Britain is signed up to other treaties protecting rights. There are also questions about whether small boat migrants could be sent back to France, which Reform claims international treaties allow. But the treaties are not specified, and it raises questions about why no one has done it before. Reform's manifesto also did not specify what it means by non-essential immigration. Reform pledged to get rid of NHS waiting lists in 2 years. Patients would receive a voucher for fully funded private treatment if they cannot see their GP within 3 days. There would be 20% tax relief on private healthcare and insurance. All frontline NHS and social care staff on less than £70,000 a year would pay zero basic rate tax for 3 years. A COVID-19 vaccine harms public inquiry would start in Britain would quit the World Health Organization annals.